Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to a short presentation on time management. And let's get cracking. If you're faced with a project, if you've got deadlines to meet, then potentially you're in the right place. Um, you might want to think actually what skills are needed to be a good time manager, or even if there's any such thing. First of all, we could say that time management is a myth because it's not really about managing time. Time is a sort of fixed resource. It's about managing yourself. And in turn, managing yourself is about having good planning skills. So, one of the benefits, or one of the most important benefits of time management is being able to plan ahead. And perhaps one of the first steps to do is when thinking of planning ahead is to start off by having a clear workspace such as your desk. And straight away I've got to confess I'm not a particularly good example of this. And then what you have to consider also is the fact that learning time management techniques is essentially learning techniques about how to manage yourself and how to be more efficient and productive uh, in using your own time. Now, procrastination is a word that I remember from childhood, my father saying just this very thing, that procrastination is the thief of time. In other words, putting off stuff because you don't want to face it or because it's too difficult and there's easier stuff to do. And the trouble with avoiding doing a task, particularly an important task, is that that process of avoiding it or even denial leaves us feeling with this kind of sense of what we, I guess, psychologists would describe as cognitive dissonance, this feeling of uneasiness, of inadequacy, of self-doubt. And there are certain things as well that maybe we can do to help ourselves when it comes to managing our time and managing ourselves. First of all is to get rid of all distractions. Creating to-do lists is always a good use of time. The concept of multitasking is a bit of a myth as well, because really what that means is that you're doing several tasks and not properly concentrating on any of them. And if you've got negative thoughts about your own abilities or capabilities or willingness or ability to do a particular task, dispel those negative thoughts. Crack on with it. Just get started. So, good time management involves following a plan of action. Um, Within that plan of action, there should be what are called SMART objectives. In other words, you set yourself targets that are specific, measurable, they're realistic or attainable, they're relevant, and they're based on time. And also, the most important thing is to get the things done that are priorities. And essentially, you prioritize those tasks that are most urgent. And in order to do that, it's important to know just what your schedule is. Where are your deadlines? What have you got to complete by what time? By what date? Now, attached is a video you might want to see. It's only a short one. It's a couple of minutes long, and it gives you a lot of useful tips for time management. Now, some of them we've already talked about. I mean, it's important to keep schedules, perhaps keep a calendar or diary. One of the most important things that is easy to ignore is the importance of being able to say no if you're being given too much work to do or being given unrealistic tasks. Set yourself reminders wherever possible, post-it notes attached to the front door perhaps, or to your ceiling. Focus on what you need to do. Where you've got similar tasks, batch them together. Give yourself breaks. Don't try and do everything without kind of resting your mind from time to time, and remove from your life what we can only describe as time bandits. Those tasks, or sometimes they're people that just take up too much of your time for little reward, little gain, or little purpose. And also important is to have a list of tasks. When I'm really organised, I make a task list the night before to then tackle the following day. That's what we say here. That to me is good management of yourself, so that when you start the new day, you know what you've got to do, and you know what are the important things. Um, what are the priorities for that day. So here's plenty of time management tips, that many of them I've already said. Batching, ignoring phone calls and emails, trying not to be on your emails all day. That's just a waste of time. And as for social media, well, talked about time bandits earlier on. That's certainly one. I know I've recently left Twitter, and I know for a fact that I've gained between 30 and 45 minutes into my day. And what's the point of arguing with strangers? So social media is something that can be easily reduced. And sometimes if you're managing, or if you're involved in a team, maybe the skills of delegation are what you need, rather than trying to do everything yourself. So yeah, prioritizing tasks is very important. And if you don't prioritize, then sometimes you can work very hard and achieve an awful lot. But sadly, what you've achieved perhaps is not that important, and doesn't necessarily relieve the pressures of impending deadlines. So that's it. So you know what to do. Consider perhaps what you've found out from this video. What are the two things that were really interesting, that were really important? And if there's anything you'd still like to know, well, ask that question and maybe check it out with someone, or with Google, or with me, if you can actually find me. But anyway, that's it for now. I hope that was useful. Bye for now.